students. Let me just go through what you need to know for our so-called CT, right? So now, obviously, you are supposed to have already done two CT mock exercises. So today's video is sharing with you what to look out for in case you have missed our previous sessions on our mock exercises. Okay, so now in your context over here, you must firstly, for our numbers, you need to know what are HCFs and LCMs. Okay, so assuming that we have to find 12 and 30. So let's say now, if we are supposed to find the HCF, okay, of 12 and 30, now, and using the word prime factorization. So look out for this word prime. We have discussed this in class. What are prime numbers? So you have to actually think about divisions, of course, finding the factors of it. So how does it work? So let's just do it together first for HCF. Now, assuming that this question is about asking HCF of 12 and 30. So let's say they ask for the HCF in prime factorization. Okay, so you must use the prime factors to list out the HCF and to multiply them together to find the answers. Okay, so let's just try to do it using division methods. Okay, putting them together. Alternatively, you can also do it separately. Okay, whichever ways that you do, as long as you show you're working clearly, is very much appreciated. Okay, so firstly, let's say now I've got 12 and 30. We will make sure that we divide both numbers together. Okay, now firstly, ask yourself 12 and 30. What prime factors can we divide 12 and 30? Let's start with 2. Okay, so basically you will try to divide by 2 because you know that they are even numbers. Okay, so divide by 2, you get 6, you get 15. Okay, now continue, ask yourself 6, 15, can you divide by 2? Not quite, because 15 is not an even number. But you notice that 6 and 15, they can be divided by 3. We will do them together. So basically now divide by 3, you get 2, you get 5. Okay, now until here you can't do it anymore. You can't divide both of them at the same time because they don't share any common factor anymore. So that means stopping for the time being. So your HCF is actually equivalent to 2 times 3. Okay, now where do we take the 2 and the 3? We take it from this and this. Okay, so 2 times 3 is equals to 6. That's how we find the HCF using prime factorization. Okay, now of course I will not stop at HCF. I will ask for LCM as well. Okay, so now what are LCMs? They are basically lowest common multiples. So for this one, now we can continue from here, obviously. Alright, I know some students will just multiply by 10. You could, but let's show the working. Okay, so assuming you have got it right now over here, you would have to divide until everybody is a 1. Okay, what does it mean? Look at this. I will divide 2 first. Okay, now the 2 can be divided obviously with the 2 to get a 1, right? But the 5 you can't, so in this case you just put a 5 first. Okay, now next, 5 and 1. The 1 has already reached its minimum of a 1. We'll stop there. But for the 5, we'll continue to divide until it is 1 also. So let's divide this by 5. This will be equals to 1. So we have got 1, 1. Now, so you will notice that the LCM is a further extension of our HCF we will continue to find the factors, okay, of the individual numbers, okay. So go ahead and do that. Now you will notice that now the LCM is actually 2 times 3, which is part of your HCF, right, times 2 times 5, okay, and that will be the one that you see over here. This is going to be added to your HCF, and that becomes 60, okay. So that is how we actually come up with the HCF and LCM, okay. Hope everybody is clear about that, okay. So please make some notes if you need to. Alright, so this is done. Okay, I'll just erase that. And now let me go to the next one, okay. Now let's talk about okay, remember our lessons also involve BODMAS and multiplications. So you must, in your context, know how to multiply involving negatives, okay. And of course, what if you are going to divide with two negatives, okay, so on and so forth, okay. So for instance, negative 8 times 5, okay, you know that is 8 times 5 is 40, right? So please write 40, but look at this, there's only one negative, right? So remember I said that in class, this is going to be a negative 40. Same goes for division, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, huh? So this is another type of question you might need to be ready for. And of course, in our class, we also mentioned about the PADMAS, right? PADMAS, parentheses, the exponential, division, multiplication, addition, then subtraction. This is where you will do your sequence in, we call that the logical operations, okay. That means plus, minus, times, divide. So for instance, if you see something like that, 4 plus 3, right, times, okay, 6 minus 2 to the power of 2, okay. Now what happens is this, over here, look for the bracket first and do what is in the bracket first, okay. That will be the first thing you need to do, parentheses, which means brackets, okay. So settle what is in the bracket first, okay. So basically that will be 6 minus 2, so go for that. This will be 4 plus 3 times 4 to the power of 2, okay. So this has been done, okay. Next, any exponential, we call that power, okay. So we'll go for that. Let's go for that. And where is it? It's over here. So we will settle that right now. So this is going to be number 2, okay. Don't write 1 2 in your answer, huh? I'm just sharing with you our working, okay, our sequence. So I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to write as per normal, but I'm going to do something about that 4 squared, which is going to be 16, okay. Right, so once you have settled all your exponential, your power, we'll run to now do a review of the so-called division or multiplication, okay, whoever comes first from left to right. So in this case, okay, I see a multiplication over here, I will do it the next thing, okay. So basically now you're going to multiply, okay, manually. That will be of course 16 times 3, which is actually maybe 40, let me look at it, 16 times 3, that will be 48, so we'll just do that as well, okay. 4 plus 48, and last but not least, settle down your additions and subtractions. That will settle this to be 52, okay. So please bear in mind, don't forget your PADMAS or your BODMAS, okay. That means go for the bracket first, and then the exponential, the power, then you go for division, multiplication, huh? Now for numbers, there's also something which I also need you to know, and that will be, do you know so-called index notations, okay. What does it mean by index notation? Okay, I'm going to show that to you right now over here, okay. So now index notation I'm looking for is, I need you to put the power, okay. I need you to put the power over there. So what does it mean by putting the power? So for instance, if you have got something like that, okay, I I expect you to have a final answer to be 2 to the power of 2 times 3. Okay, I need you to have that. Okay, I need you to have this written, and this is all called an index. Okay, which is also called power. Okay, so that is called writing it in index notation. Okay, so you need to, in your final answer you need to write 2 because there are 2 of them. Okay, so do take note of that. Right, now, so we are done almost with that. Okay, I'm going to talk about now is the expressions. Okay, our simple expressions. Okay, so very firstly, our expressions involve a few things. Okay, the very first thing I need you to know, alright, is expansion. We did that in class. Remember, we did our expansion in class, and you need to know how to expand. Okay, so how does it work? Okay, so let's have a look at it. Your expansion, okay, we'll look at it like that. Okay, have a look at it. Let's say, for instance, you have got a 3x and then bracket x plus 4. Now, when you see this, remember, this is actually 3x times x plus 4. There is a multiplication here, but we don't write because we have a bracket to represent these two are multiplied. So you need to do something for students who are unsure. You can do it like this. Go for this first term first. Okay, so the first term, let's discuss this. Okay, this is actually 3. X times x is x squared. Okay, now I always advise students, when you do such a multiplication, just look at the numbers and then the x's and the y's. Okay, don't lump them together if you're unsure. Okay, the next thing, let's talk about this, is our 3x times positive 4. Okay, so obviously 3 times 4 is 12, right? So you just write a 12, and there's no more thing over here, so the x will just be there. Okay, so please understand that the expansion is not that hard. You don't be careless also. If there are only one x, don't put 2x, okay, in your final answers if there's only one x. Okay, so please be careful. Now, this is expansion. We also have this factorization that you need to know, and the meaning of factorization is to convert it back to this, whereby I'm seeing all the brackets. Okay, so for instance, if I give you something like that, let me choose one question. Okay, let's say I give you something like this: 8m squared plus 12m, for instance. Okay, we did that in class also. Now, first thing, don't be too ambitious to look at everything together. Okay, look at numbers first. Okay, and then look at the so-called the algebraic so-called representation. Okay, so first let's only look at 8 and 12. Okay, so 8 and 12. Okay, any common terms? What about 4, right? So if you have got a 4, you can actually divide. Okay, so how does it work? Means that they have a common factor of 4, right? You must have a common factor of 4. If you cannot do that, then you need to do this. Okay, which is not necessary, but you can, of course. That will be taking the highest common factor if you want. So you can divide, obviously. So you can divide by 2, and if you want to, right? And then you can divide. Okay, it's no problem. You can do that, no problem, right? So this is done. You just put it like this. So you will notice that the HCF is actually equals to 4, right? So you will know that they have a highest common factor of 4. So you will take it out over here, right? So now it means that I'm ready to put in the brackets. Okay, so now ask yourself, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, still put a plus sign if it's the positive all the time. 12 divided by 4 is actually 3. That's how we deal with this. Okay, if you're not sure about the highest common factor, you can do that. Okay, and then of course look at the m now. This is m squared, this is m. Do we have a common? Yes, we have a common m. Put it out there. Okay, and then of course now, since you have taken m out, what is m squared divided by m? It's just an m, right? m divided by m is just a 1. So your answer is actually 4m times 2m plus 3. Okay, so now some students might be unsure about this. Okay, just be very careful that I want you in class, I already mentioned, I want you to do numbers by numbers first. It is easier to do the m square and the m's, okay, because they are very obvious. But the numbers you might not be too sure. If that is the case, please do HCF, okay? Do the prime factorization, right? And then you will see that the HCF is a 4. You will know that you can take the 4 out, okay? That's how I need that from you guys, okay? Last but not least, I also need you to know substitution. I can't emphasize enough, okay? Substitution, like I mentioned in class, I need you to actually put the brackets, okay? I need you to put the brackets, okay? What does it mean to put the bracket? It means that, for instance, let me just try to remove this for a while. Now, for substitution, I need you to put in the brackets, okay? So for instance, if let's say you are given something like this, let me just write it out for you. Let's say you are given A is equals to 5, okay? B is equals to 2, right? And then I give you an expression. So for instance, A cubed times B squared minus B, right? So I want you to find the value, and I've given you this. You need to substitute, right? So go ahead, put in the bracket first. Replace A with bracket 5 cubed, okay? Replace B with bracket 2, and then put the square, and then minus. Same thing for B, put in the 2 with the brackets. Alright, and observing our BODMAS, we'll do that. Okay, so for instance, this is going to be 5 times 5 times 5. Right, so basically this is going to be 125, correct? Right, and then of course this is 2 times 2. Obviously this is 4. And then you can just write like this first, okay? Because you can't use calculator at your level. Then you have to know the BODMAS, okay, or the PADMAS, okay. So now you have got this, right? So what you can do next, obviously, is to actually put them together. Okay, now let's observe PADMAS. You will do the multiplication first, okay, right? You will do the multiplication first, and you will notice that this is actually going to be 500. Alright, 125 times 4. Do a mental calculation, and then this is going to be minus 2. Answer 498. Okay, so please be careful, right, of what I said. Okay, so look at all the mock worksheet that I sent to you, and then review for yourself. Okay, alright, all the best for tomorrow. Okay, so thank you.